Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is IGTL time here on Half the Race Gone with me, DirtenDK, for the final, well, I'll say it's the final round this time around for the Summer Championship Series. Indeed, we are getting closer to the month of October. And as Earth, Wind and Fire once sang, something about September, it is the end of September, and we are coming here with a very, very close championship standings after 3 rounds raced. It's more than close indeed. And virtual live experience, what? It's very close indeed. It's just 3 points separating Olegna of the iRacing team, whom we're watching at the moment, from the Project 1 team. That car's been driven by Jose all the way along here. And looky look, we're racing at Fuji, ladies and gentlemen. These 2 top drivers, here in practice at least, separated so far by 5 thousandths of a second. So we're in for yet another hair racing one. This one to decide the first IGTL championship that's been broadcast here with us, at least. It's been a great pleasure. The racing has been so great so far, and it's really one looking forward to. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to see folks checking it in so early. We're still a couple of minutes away from the qualifying session. 1 lap. That's going to be like 5 minutes, so we're, I think, 3 minutes away from the qualifying session. And as mentioned, 5 minutes, but only 1 lap, so it's a one-shot Super Bowl in the end. And as I said, good afternoon and welcome. Welcome to Martin, of course, Pinkery, Maverick, Alex as well, Benjit, who might be sick by the looks of it. That's a bit of a shame. And Bnop, PNOP, nice to have you all along so early. As I mentioned, just a couple of minutes to go until qualifying. We had a lap with the Manthe of the TX3 boys, and I'll just go through the field, showing you who's on the grid today. Yet again for Lazarus, they've been switching it a bit around, but who's had the most success so far? Well, it's been the youngster himself, forever young. It is Calster 25. The day he will actually turn 25, well, it'll be an eternity before that happens. Virtual life experience. Volex Esports here yet again with Felix. Hopefully not becoming Swayze yet again. He's been strong so far. They are up there in the top running as well, the Volex boys. A very pretty Fessa indeed. TSR, of course. They're here with Ryan yet again, and Ryan's done well so far for himself in practice here. TX3, as mentioned before, represented by the South African Manthe, and back for Fernando Alonso Racing, it is Ibrahim. And for Apex Motorsports, we have Stinky. I recall we've seen Stinky here in the Summer Championship Series yet, of course, seen him in previous IGTL events, racing for Apex Motorsports. Indeed, for PRST, it's Tiger Hayes, yet another newcomer, I think, to the series. So it'll be interesting to see how he fares along. As mentioned earlier, of course, it is Olegna and not Bellin, who did the first 3 races for the iRacing team, now being substituted by the Dutchman, though one of the fastest Dutchmen. I say that we have fast Dutchmen in our own crew, but dare say that a faster one exists in the end. Cosmics Esports, represented by Axel here, he's leaving the pits. And then Turismo is here with Rodrigo as well. Jimmy Footen. And that's just coming into qualifying session. Jose Te has put in a banger of a lap and improved by 0.4 of a second. And where he's gone to find those 0.4 of a second, I just don't know. Mind you, there are quite a lot of points, and the gaps between the standings are also mentionable, and therefore I think I'll have a look at this later on. I don't have the stuff in front of me right now. Super professional, I know. But anyways, I'll have a look at it later. We'll have a look at just how the results will have to be at the finishing line in order for which, or for who to win, so to say, to who to win. And I think should Jose Tay go and win the race, they will win the championship series as well, without a doubt. Same goes for the Aries Racing Team, of course, with Olegna. And then, as mentioned before, we've got both Lazarus and Volex quite close as well. And mind you, ladies and gents, these 458, well, they run on a bit of a special BOP. It's kind of a GTE BOP, but they don't have that rear splitter. At least they don't have the same amount of rear splitter as the GTE machines do. And in turn, all it's done is made for some tail-happy Ferraris. Of course, we're running no setups as well. And it's proven over the course of this season to be a tough car, a merciless car, and one that's caught even the best of GT Sport drivers out at times. So expect the unexpected here tonight. Felt like I've said this before, but it is going to be a good one. Evening or afternoon it is. To the Dean, Ethan, nice to have you along. So it's not Volex, so it is seriously virtual life experience. Alright, from the virtual life experience esports team, I guess. It's Felix. Thanks for your corrections. Hello, thanks as well. Hello, Jordio. Nice to have you all along. As we've got qualifying getting underway. And mind you, each and every car only getting a single lap to do here, so it mightn't be the best of ideas to leave the pit so soon, given that there is 5 minutes of running. And I think what we're seeing is a lot of the teams, at least those further down here, comes PRST a little bit later out the pit, and that does indeed make sense here with Kenny, our trustful and trustworthy as well race marshal, with a bit of a reminder to the drivers to give space. There is only one hot lap, and then for the drivers to park in turn 1. Indeed. That's a good question. I think some of the Volex drivers might be able to answer that, Edward. I'm not quite sure now. This is some very interesting camera angles we're getting here. Feel like something must be done to reset it. And should it be better now? No. So cannot bring you. That's kind of a strange technical difficulty to have. See that? Just. It's a little bit strange, to be honest, but we cannot, it seems, we cannot get any pictures from out on the track, and perhaps, oh, now the pictures are there, or is it just because they're on the start-finish straight? We'll have to see, as the first drivers has already made their way through. That's Calster, here comes Olegna, then Manthe, and so on. And I'll just... perhaps this will be enough to fix it. It was not enough to fix it. And we're having quite a bit of issues here with the timing as well. So I'm afraid that we're having a bit of lobby issues. I'll just try a quick rejoin, because it seems I had some problems with it before. Of course, I'll go in and delete whatever temporary data there is. And of course, as always, you'll get a bit of the lovely GT Sport music going on, but So it's gonna be, oh look at that lovely Traels design on that good old Porsche 919 that I ran in the NES. Anyways, enough of that. Let's see how it comes along when we get in. I hope that it's gonna work. Be nice to see. Just keep saying evening, afternoon to everyone tuning in right about now. And I apologize for our slight bit of technical difficulties. It seems they have been fixed. Timing is running as well. Timing isn't really running by now, but I guess we get the times as they come along here as well. Jose Tate just coming along. He's clearly on a provisional pole time, and he'll be able to top that. I am not sure that he got a good toe somewhere or just did a brilliant lap, almost 4/10 up, still at Olegna, and then it's very close in between and afterwards. But Axel there, 5th place, 2nd down it seems. And we do have pictures now, so that's nice to see. Quinton, nice to have you along as well. So where is Calster? He's in 8th place, 9th now. Nope, Calster has yet to finish his lap. So Calster, one of the final ones to get on track. There comes the virtual life experience car. A 1:32.4, so that's in the top half of the field. We're checking on Calster. It's a good call from Calster there to actually wait to get the slipstream and just about making it before the end. Of course, he would be able to actually cross the line now and do a lap as well, but it's not going to be necessary. Let's see what it is going to be for Lazarus Esports though. 1:31, that's a pole time for Calster. So no doubt about it, that toe helped them along, and he manages to get into the 31s yet alone. He manages also to beat Project One, hitting down Jose Tay into 2nd place on the grid. Olegna will be 3rd, starting from the 2nd row. Manthe for TX3 in 4th place. And let's just have the results on the screen for you all to see. Right about there it is. And the question is, I don't think It's Alex in the lobby. I hope Alex not racing. Alex, you're not racing, right? I see you're in chat. Give us an answer on that. If you are, you're the ghost today. But anyways, Calster for Lazarus on pole position. A brilliant lap, a brilliant run. Waited and made it count. Took that little bit of extra with the slipstream. Brilliant stuff. Indeed, good stuff. Alex just making sure. So, also noteworthy, VLX. They're in 5th place on the grid. We've got Fernando Alonso racing up in 6th. They've done better than we've seen for the first couple of events. They've been joining for Axel for Cosmics Esports in 7th. We've got Apex Motorsports with Stinky in 8th. We've got TSR with Ryan. They're in 9th place on the grid. Tiger Hayes for PRST in 10th. And then in 11th on the grid it is Rodrigo for Turismo Racing indeed. Nico Ardi, welcome too. Nice to have you along. And there it is. The race is about to get going, to get underway. And with that, I think we're just gonna see... Nope. Oh, yeah. So here it is yet again, just to round up what I just went through a couple of seconds ago. It is, of course, the grid order. And mind you, it's an important bit here. Mediums are the only set of tires available. And we'll be running times one on the fuel tire situation. But the drivers will be allowed no more than 50 liters of fuel here, as the race is just about to go green. And have a look at the red lights at the board. I think. Don't they work? Oh, they don't. But off they are. And it's Calster. Oh, no. Oh. And we've been hit by that same old bug yet again. Yeah. So I need to rejoin just as the race gets underway. Have we ever seen better timing than this? As we're having these technical difficulties. We'll do our best to be back as quickly as humanly possible. Thanks, Cass. Appreciate it. There was someone stuck on the grid as well. I was afraid something was up with that lobby. And to be honest, I actually asked for a new lobby when we encountered problems at the beginning, because it is my experience that one issue with the lobbies rarely come alone. Yeah, it's good looking, huh? Let's see if we can get along to actually spectate. This is a little strange as well. There it is. So spectating is on. Let's see, do we have the replays? We do not have the replays. So that's one thing we're gonna be without here, but Calster is already having to defend from Jose Tay here as they come into turn 1 on lap, well, whatever it is. And it's not giving us the full details either, so it's... Oh... bugged out IGTL lobby where it doesn't give us the lap count. Oh, Axel for Cosmics has picked up damage. And here is Rodrigo, for some reason, parked the car or something's up. Don't know what that is. Could be some kind of connection issue there, I'm not sure. Fernando Alonso Racing having had trouble on the opening couple of laps as well. And it's gonna be a little bit of a limp version of the stream here, as we don't have the replay function because of the issues with the lobby. So, it's still Calster in the lead. Let's go on board here. Wang Can time as he's defending from Jose Tay and Olegna. I'll do my best to catch whatever action we are seeing here today, but it is of course going to be a bit of a shame that I can't bring you any of these hot moments of racing for a second, even third, or perhaps even a fourth time as well. This time around, Calster knows the deal, going defensive here. It's a late send, it seems, from Jose Tay into turn 1. And they're side by side very much. They might be even compromising Calster into the claws of Olegna here. And that'd be a very nice thing to actually make do here for the Dutchman. But he's having to settle in for third place at the moment. Here is Olegna. And indeed, Kenny, that is what we're gonna do. And it isn't gonna bring anything back you need. As far as I understood, you need to be spectating from the beginning of the race in order to have the replay. So that might be why. Good pressure there from Olegna. But he needs to get past quickly. It seems Jose Tay is on a blistering pace and is putting time into to Calster immediately here. And mind you, right now the championship is going into the hands of Project One Motorsports, and there is. They're all yelling it down the straight, Martin. Oh, here comes the send from Olegna. On a just wish we could bring it back yet again. It's a brilliant one. Up the inside, Kalster gives a little flash. I don't think he was too enthusiastic about that send from the Dutchman. But I'm not sure there was really anything wrong with it as well. It'll have to be the steward's decision for after the race. It was hard to see, at least, I think. And now Olegna's on the chase. He knows what is up for grabs. The first IGTL championship title. Well, that's true, Kipso. He has done brilliantly so, especially given that didn't even race. What happened to him actually in the first race? Did he DNF or he wasn't on the results board at least here? Olegna, Kalster very close still, and then in fourth place it's Manthe, TX3 there nicely for himself at the moment with the VLX in fifth place there. Felix Ryan for TSR snuck up a couple of positions. Early days is hanging on, but the tip of the fingernail there seems to be losing out to the toe of Felix now, but is hanging on to sixth place. Apex Motorsport is there in seventh, and then it's a PRST with Tiger Hayes in eighth at the moment. Jose Tay has lost that big advantage down to Olegna, and now it's also becoming a strategy game between the two. If the Dutchman can keep up and keep the slipstream of the car in front, be able to use and utilize that come the pit stop rounds. And a good question indeed, what's actually happened to Rodrigo and whatever happened to make the car just, yeah, a bit of a problem, a bit of a shame indeed. If you can tell me anything, what's going on? Is he actually racing, or is it just on my screen that he's parked there at the side? I'm not really sure, to be honest. So take a half a second gap down to Olegna now. As you can see, that's getting into down that long start-finish straight. Over 1 kilometer it is. And a lot of souk indeed. Lap 6. Thanks, Martin. Lap 6 out of how many? Was it 47, 48? Yeah, I'll need my little Dirten's little helpers to keep me updated here tonight. Or this afternoon. Still not used to not streaming in the evening, or still more or less only used to streaming in the evening, I think it is. Anyways, Jose is hanging on to it, and as we can see here in the middle sector, pulling away from Olegna. Goes a little bit wide there, but manages to get the drive out the corner and actually keeps extending. It's very much a question of whether Jose can break the toe down to Olegna before the start finish straight, and if so, that's gonna enable him to as he gets a very big slide on him, he manages to catch the tail, but that's sure gonna lose him a lot of time. Hardly even, how is that even possible? That was a huge slide indeed, and I'm pressing so managing not to lose more than a tenth or so with that big slide before, as they go on to lap 7 now. Do I want a PS4? Well, I'm not gonna say no to that. I have a PS4, but I guess it's getting old. Ethan very much wants a PS4. That's true. Ethan doesn't have a PS4. If anybody deserves or needs a PS4, I think the Dean is the one. The other one. Callister is actually still hanging on pretty well to the tail of Olegna here. Still all within a second and a half between the top three here. It's not gonna take a lot though for any of them to slip. We just saw that a moment ago. Ryan, a question. Has he dropped off? We'll have to see here. He picked up a little bit of a penalty and he has also dropped off. And just as we join him, he runs majorly wide through the final corner, just gets across. Stinky there. I don't think he's gonna put on more of a squeeze than necessary here, Ryan. Be careful. Stinky got the run here and Ryan's breaking off, so I think he's got it done. No, it doesn't seem if he's got damage. It doesn't show for us. Jose still 0.8 of a second. The advantage is stationary to Olegna at the moment. The question is who's pressuring the most. If any one of them is able to save that little bit extra fuel to keep the tires a little extra alive while keeping the pace of the opposition. Callister still along at the back there. Manthe, Felix, very close to one another. Felix putting on the pressure. He's very close. They need new helmet designs as well. With the virtual life experience. Felix behind the wheel of that lovely light blue and black Fessa as he's gaining on Manthe. I think he's gonna make the descent this time around. And he just places himself perfectly through the corner, and that is VLX up into 4th place. Manthe looking for the cutback, but there just wasn't any space here. There's almost a bit of contact as they go through turn 3 into turn 4. Still close isn't really the word to use. It's much more than that, as it more looks like they're glued together front to bumper at the moment here as Felix goes wide. He loses it almost though, and he gets a bad drive. Is it enough? Here comes the switch back from Manthe indeed. Doesn't get the drive though, and they're in to the final sector using the short layout, so no chicane here, and probably makes for a more overtake friendly layout of the track here, that final sector indeed. And it's basically all about trying to line it up for the perfect exit of the final corner. That's what's gonna gain you, especially in these battles here. Hello Swap Blue, nice to have you along. And we've got Stella as well, the half the race dog. I'm gonna have to excuse the dog barking. I've tried to tell her to shut up, she's not listening. So it's just gonna be with featuring Stella in the background. She's trying to say a lot of stuff. I don't speak dog. Tried learning it. Seems it's pretty hard. At the top of affairs, I should say, it's still pretty much as it was last time we looked. The gap's grown, but by 0.2 of a second. And it's now just about a second's worth of distance between Jose and Olegna. Yet again, Jose going a little wide. That might slow him down through the next corner. And still Callister also keeping up with the two, keeping in check here. Purple through the middle sector he is. Good one. QL must have a good dog then. Felix, well, he's not only grabbed 4th place, but he's left behind Manthe there in 5th. Oh, Ryan seems to have fallen off, and he certainly has. Down into 8th place now. And the gaps certainly are a little bit larger, as we've had a little bit more chaos, it seems, around the back end of affairs here with the stinky Tiger Haze. A further 7.5 seconds down, and then another 8 seconds down to Ryan in 8th place, Fernando Alonso and Cosmix, who really seem to have had some poor luck here early days. But Axel is catching up to the Fernando Alonso Racing car in front. Oh, and Turismo. Thanks, Maverick. I hadn't really understood whether Turismo was actually racing or not, but Turismo is racing. It's just me with the problems. It's Turismo ghosting. They're not in the wall. They're actually running, believe it or not, swaying it out right behind Calster. So that means everybody else, of course, gets bumped down a place. And I guess that's also what's created the chaos, the viewing chaos, the trouble that we've been seeing here today. A little bit of a shame. Indeed, Kipso bad. Woof. I shouldn't say too much. Just get her going again. Axel gave Axel damage. Good one. Indeed. Now look at this. Jose just breaking away from Olegna ever so slightly. The gap is slowly growing. The thing is, it hasn't been long since they increased the range and a bit of other things about the slipstream here. But Manthe pitting in, so they are beginning to have emptied that fuel tank. It is, of course, also a track where you burn quite a bit of fuel. A lot of full gas, indeed. The plot thickens, Maverick. A bit of a time loss there for Jose Tay through the first sector, as we're having several drivers pitting in here. Manthe, Stinky, Tiger Haze as well. This will be interesting to see also if there will be any stretching. Olegna will be yelling "Daddy!" as they come down to the straight, that's for sure, trying to claw his way back here, but he's actually gaining on this round, so it's looking good for the Dutchman. As we are on lap 14 of 47. It's kind of weird you having to tell me, but I do really appreciate it. Thanks, Kipso. We make do with what we have and what we got, and what we got today was a buggy lobby indeed, or a buggy connection, or at least bugs. Some real classic GT bugs. Is that gonna be a no? It's not. They're all pitting in here, the 3 leaders, so let's have a look at the fuel remaining for him here. That's interesting to see. 4% more fuel in the car of Olegna. And the question is, would the Dutchman just be trying to mirror the tactic that Jose Tay is running and then stay right in behind? Well, that's not mirroring, because he's fueling way more. He came in from less, and that's lost him quite a lot of time. How did he pick up that? It's 7.2 seconds between him all of a sudden. Just under 50% of fuel there. Not that much more fuel. I don't think that's 7 seconds worth of fuel at least. That's interesting indeed. Turismo is now leading the race. Jose Tay with the pit glitch. Could that be it? 49%. Benji, when they came in, well, that's interesting, but when they came in, Jose Tay was on 5% of fuel left. Olegna was on 9%, of course. Olegna having had the slipstream, well, he doesn't have that anymore, and now he's further behind. Hello, Wake. Hello, Belen as well. And Let's see, that could be the tires in the end. Callister didn't Callister come in as well before? 4 seconds. 7 seconds kind of ahead. I think Callister, with that low amount of fuel, he must have had some kind of problem with that pit stop. I'm not sure though. Jose hit the wall when they entered the pits here. Volex is in now, of course. That's not virtual. That is the virtual life experience and not Volex. I do apologize. And I do apologize prematurely for any other whoopsies that may come along. Callister didn't pit, but how can he only be in front by 7 seconds then? That doesn't really add up. Can of course have a look at his lap times if we can call them up on screen. I'm not quite sure. No, he did not pit, that's true. He did stay out, but just a bit surprised to see that he hasn't lost, or that he hasn't kept more of an advantage than just those 7.5 seconds. And this time, surely he's coming in, so it was just me not paying full attention. I thought I saw that car pitting in before. Made that late dip not to do so. Quickly back into the lead is Jose Tay, but it's just, of course, quick fueling done there. He is out in front of Olegna indeed, and Olegna has lost a further 1.5 seconds more or less actually since last time we had a look, and the field has spread out ever so slightly though. Still close here in behind with TX3, CSR, Apex Motorsports, and Fernando Alonso racing all within sight of one another. And Thunderstorm, it is really, I'm having a bit of trouble understanding that, because let's see, I mean, no, they didn't do tires. Did Olegna do tires? Olegna did tires. Well, there's the explanation, as Kenny said as well. There is an explanation to everything. And of course, Olegna took fresh tires. Jose Tay did not. And that's actually really interesting for this. Jose Tay is double stinting that set of mediums. Could that be the deciding factor in the end? That is the endurance move, so to say, to do. Olegna certainly not full on fuel. He did do a little more fuel, but that big difference is, of course, the lack of tire change. That is really going to be interesting later on in this stint, because naturally, with the tire wear here for Jose Tay, those rears, it's with a little bit of wear, but it's by no means bad. Callister, though, he's right up to it here. Now, let's see if we can see the last lap. No, we're not getting any bit of lap times as well here, so that's a bit of a shame actually. I'd like to see what the last lap was for Jose Tay here. Or just straight on with the 132s and the low ones as well. It's looking good. Olegna, though, should be in with an advantage for later on in this stint. Of course, he could also have to choose to double stint on the next. On this and the next stint, so to say, if he is not gaining enough time. And Jose Tay in front. Martin. Oh, Lewis. Priceless stuff. Keep it coming. Are we talking the Belgians in chat? Oh, we have Mandy here in 5th position. And gaining on the TX3 car, it seems at the moment. ever so slightly is Ryan. Just as I say that, he actually goes and he gets a really good exit on him there though. Knows what's up with that final corner, and he is indeed gaining in here. Same goes for Stinky. He's right around the edge of the slipstream of Ryan there. Should be within the data. That is a very... I'm trying to get you in on our inside jokes here. Suck me dada. But it's the Souk we're talking about here, as Fernando Alonso Esports is of course pitting in as well. The reason, of course, for much ado about Souk is the importance of the Souk here at the Fuji. Of course, slipstream, one of the more important factors, or one of the tracks where slipstream is an important factor. Now look at this, Callister's really tacking on to the rear end of Jose Tain. It seems he's gaining on the Spaniard in front. And Olegna, he's starting to gain. And just as I say that, he does get a little bit of a bad run, it seems, out the final corner, but he's gained a little bit back since last time we checked. Rodrigo is not... Oh yeah, where is Rodrigo? They must have pit in by now, but where did Rodrigo come out? What lap are we on now? 18? Something like that? The confused boy. The confused Dane. And Rodrigo is indeed 4th, which means that VLX is 5th. We've got TX3 in 6th place, Ryan then in the TSR car 7th, Apex Motorsports in 8th place, and then Cosmix down in 9th at the moment. Jose Tain seems to start gaining here in Calster. But he is within the slipstream yet again. Goes for the launch. Yeah, Lewis, you don't say. And thanks for all the updates. They've been coming from left, right, and center. All those necessary informations that I've been lacking. For example, the fact that no matter what I do, no matter what I do here, I just cannot bring up the lap, and somehow lap 19 there wasn't any time on it, and that came before lap 18. Did you see that? Right side here, that's really strange, to be honest. So we're just gonna put that away nicely again and just focus on the racing, for Christ's sake, as Callister yet again has brought himself within 0.8 of a second. He's trying to hang on, but look at the speed being carried through there by Jose Tain. He's really pushing it. Callister seems a little bit more measured at the moment, and it seems that the aggressive style isn't really gaining Jose Tain too much at the moment. He, of course, is gonna have to send everything to the absolute max if he's gonna keep up with two drivers who some fresh tires. The question is, Callister, we're gonna have a look. Callister didn't change tires as well, so neither Lazarus or Project One did a tire change on that first pit stop. Erie's did, Erie's racing team with Olegna did, and I think the rest of the field did as well. Somebody could maybe tell me, this is what I see of Rodrigo. It's so strange. It's a strange world. It best get cracked, boys. There it is. And today it's not a Coke. Today it is beer. So cheers, everyone, and just thanks for tuning in all along these IGTL races. This summer championship series has been a blast, and it is turning out to be yet another interesting race, albeit one with a little bit of technical difficulties, to say the least. Ever so slightly, I do say ever so slightly a lot, but it's a good way of speech. I think it covers... You can see a little biddle, a tiny little biddle. Legna, status quo, 8.5 seconds down, so really trying, I think, but not really making inroads in front. It's not a HTRG drinking game, it's the HTRG drinking game, and we will make it. That's actually a really good idea. We'll make it, and we'll make a PDF that we can share in the description. For the check the description for the drinking game. That's actually a really good idea. We're gonna need more weekend streams with that. More weekend race commentaries, more silly stuff, I guess. Perhaps more backwards racing here as Ryan has made it past. And yet again, there's nothing we can do about it but to say that I think something happened. It surely looked that way. Ryan's gotten past. Did he just dive towards the pit? He certainly did. I think he saw just how low he was on fuel. TSR hopping in here as we are on lap, what, 20? Out of 47 to do. That's gonna be popular, Jimmy, I'm quite sure. What do you say, everyone? Would you tune in to a weekly Friday stream of a race broadcast that included a drinking game on a Friday evening? Or do you have a life? That's the question. I certainly don't. That's for sure. Well, that's a strong statement, Kipso, but one that I appreciate reading. I'm just glad to hear. Got so dedicated followers out there. Someone will have to teach him at some point anyways. Might as well be the Danske boys. Look at this now, Callister all on the tail of Hosete as they round turn 1, through turn 2 they go. No kink shaming, indeed, it is a turn. And then turn 3, and that is, of course, the whole point of no kink shaming is to include the kinks as corners as well. Turn 4, this long sweeper with a break at the end. Tightens that a little bit extra. Turn 5, the slow left-hander as it opens on the exit. And one place where you can really lose the rear end if grip is going away. Beer. When do we get the HTRG merch? That is actually a very good idea, Thunderstorm. We'll have to consider those things. And indeed, we are also looking at our setup for the future. I've said that before, but I do want to expand. I do want to expand HTRG a little bit to include some more of the community boys, to have them take part in the creation of the content here on the channel as well. To be able to create some, maybe a little bit more varied content, and so that we can keep relevant. And of course, it shall be quality content still, but I do think that we have some nice folks, some nice people with a lot to offer here, as both of the front runners goes for a little bit of a twitchy rear. So it's like they're a pair of dancers in more or less synchronous action on that exit of turn 1, but it is that, I mean, that AstroTurf is the deadliest of AstroTurfs. Ethan, you're more than welcome. Let's PM Ethan PM, and we'll discuss that. Belen, go, go flex your beer. Go get it. Get it now. Oh, Calster well into the daddy zone. I don't know how good of an idea it is with beer and race commentating at the same time here, but it surely is. Calster's gained about half a second. That back straight, front straight it is. Start finish straight. Getting confused here. Start finish straight. But anyways, he gained half a second there. He got kind of close, and it seems Hosete isn't really all that infallible. The thing is, even with those fresh tires, Olegna isn't really seeming to be able to do much about the gap in front. Just picked up half a second's worth of penalty. Hashtag Realbird. Ethan, if you're looking at getting into iRacing, I'd certainly wait till, or not necessarily wait all along, but I'm sure, and that goes for anyone looking to get into iRacing or looking to get a year's worth of subscription at a very good price or something. But there is Black Friday coming up in not too long, and they do have some very sweet deals, so you can save quite a bit of money there. Usually, that is what I'm aiming for myself when it comes to iRacing. Here, Hosete pitting in. Calster is doing an extra lap, so that's an attempt on undercutting the car in front. Now we're gonna see, do they do tires this time around to keep it running on the same triple spinning the tires here? Hosete, cold as ice, exiting in third place. And look, that's right on the tail of Olegna. That's gonna be difficult for the Dutchman to deal with. Well, in any case, Stinky pitting in here for Apex Motorsports, coming in from what is effectively 7th place on the grid, in the race, in the running, in proceedings. Black Friday, isn't that like the first Friday in November or something like that, or sometime in November? I think it's sometime in November. I'm not sure. I'm not good, strong in any way on that American stuff. Black Monday. That sounds like something very depressive. That's a good question, Jimmy, but it's his name. I don't know if he... I mean... What kind of commentator, even if someone was called Farty, I mean... I guess I would just have to say Farty without laughing. That'd be a challenge, though. As Calster dips into the pits, he goes for the tire change. Seems he was able to pick up the pace before. Olegna, mind you, did that longer stint before, so the question is, for how long can you keep it running now? It's down to a 2-second advantage over Hosete here. Although we should see Olegna with some real speed in the car right around this moment of time, as it's very light and is still on some of the fresher tires, I would expect. And he is also slowly pulling away. And Farty is not, Jimmy. How's Ryan? He's in 6th, which is 7th, which is strange, I know. And did you see just all of a sudden his tires just went boop? I don't know if I am to trust anything of what I see on the screen. I don't know, is it even real? Are we even real? What is even? What even is? This GT Sport bug making me all philosophical here. Nigel Mansell. Oh, that's pretty good. Olegna is creeping away from Josete at the moment. It's 2.4 seconds. First time we've seen Olegna really gain. And then it's another 4, there's like 5 seconds down to Calster in behind. And the VLX car not too far behind at all. It hasn't been bad from Felix, and I think they're still 5th with Rodrigo in 4th. But I just don't know, so someone tell me. Dirten is not drunk. Dirten is slightly tipsy. Wait, there's a big difference. You drink a airy stuff. What is that? A vodka or something? I don't know. Or is it a Spanish beer, Kipso? I only know Mahao, and San Miguel, and those standard beers. So please don't hate me for it. But I am drinking with you. Cheers. So I'm doing this rare thing called beer drinking while streaming. As Olegna dips into the pits, well, he catches the wall there, but it is the wall made of rubber, as it is on any track here. As Josete pits in as well. Oh, he needs to go for the tire change by now. Question is, how is this gonna leave him? I don't think Olegna did the time. He did. Josete did a whole lot of fuel there. Should be good to the end of the race. And that should be another 30 minutes of running or so. That's a good question indeed. Sonningale. So where is Rodrigo now? That's a good question. I would expect them to be in between Josete and Manthe. Although yet again, what do I know? It's a good question. I don't know that much because... Thanks, Kaz. And indeed, if you like what you see, or indeed, if you like what you hear, somehow, yeah. Anyway, if you like what we do here on Have the Race Gone, give us a like, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing for more of this mad digital motorsports that we like doing. In not too long, we're gonna have ourselves racing. We're gonna have Traels, Martin and I going at it and taking on the Petit Le Mans. 10 hours of racing at Road Atlanta. It's gonna be in not next weekend, but in 2 weeks time. We're getting excited for that one already now. I am, at least. Rodrigo's leading! The Ghost is in the lead. And that means Calster is now second. We've got VLX in third place, Olegna fourth, and Project One in fifth. 2.5 seconds down on Olegna with a lot of fuel. Hashtag real burp. Squeeze me. That is you, Martin, indeed. Oh, Osate getting a little squiddly there on that outside curb. It is an easy place to lose it. And it's an easy car to lose the rear of, indeed. Rodrigo in second place now after pitting. Nice stuff, Lloyd's Elite. Hello, Rapid Gator. Nice to have you along. Well, what lap are we on? If you can see, I can tell you one thing, that's for sure. I've been hit by some kind of lobby issues here that seems to only really be affecting me. Luckily, since that's what you're seeing. So we're not getting the lap counter, no matter what I do. And that's even if I go and display everything, I still don't get it. I think they're on lap 30 by now. I'm not completely mistaken. But I don't know. We have 47 laps of racing to do. In that case, we are into the last about 25 minutes left. Somewhere along the lines of 25 minutes worth of racing left. Indeed, lap 30, thanks Kenny. So that is one way we can check the lap counter. That's always something. Now we have... what did you miss as well? You missed that, for me it looks like Rodrigo is parked here along the wall, which he isn't. He's in second, running in between Calster and the VLX car at the moment. We then also have a championship battle that's very much going on at the moment between Olegna in the Iris Racing team car and Josete in the Project 1 Motorsports car. Those two separated by just 2.2 seconds at the moment, and this could go all the way to the line. We are expecting both of them to have made their final pit stops at this time. So it'll be interesting to see if Josete here is going to be able to not only catch up to, but also overtake Olegna, who seemed to find something somewhere in order to gain a little bit of pace and is now holding on to that 2.3, 2.4 second advantage there. Calster, get in there. Oh, Kipso, you missed Stella. That's a good point. You missed the barkings of Stella. Even though I could make... I'm not going to make her bark. That just gets her all up and gets her all rowdy and such. Well, T5, the joke is that he's in P5. Ryan is down in P9 at the moment. Just came out the pits and is now chasing the Fernando Alonso racing car. And then a further 4 seconds down, it's Cosmics Esports here. Calster still comfortably, at least comfortably ahead of the Volex car. It's not the Volex car, it is the virtual life experience. I do apologize, I did earlier, and I'll do so again later on for the next time I fuck it up, which will be... I've had so many races by now of just saying Volex that it's certainly not... It's suddenly, when it's suddenly not Volex... It's not that I'm too stupid to process the fact that it's not Volex anymore. It's just a thing called memory and habit. And those things seem to play in along as well. Hello, Stick. Nice to have you along as well. Now let's see that battle. Olegna has gained a little bit this time around, down to Josete. Mind you, the Dutchman still holding on to the fastest lap. For what I know, at least here with a 1:31.8, which is certainly not a bad lap here with Fernando Alonso pitting in. It's going to cost a position to TSR and to Cosmics. Is David Attenborough doing the commentary? I don't believe so, Martin. Oh, Rodrigo has the Oh, what a shit show! Thanks, Thunderstorm. Now VLX is pitting in. There's not a lot of fuel left in that car. Seems they need this stuff now. They need it now more than later, that's for sure. Quite a bit of fuel going in here on lap, what is that, 33, 34 by now? 33 indeed. My inner lap clock isn't that bad at all. TX3 also for their final schedule stop. Oh no. Oh no. I won't even try it. David Attenborough me through that sentence, man. So it's still Callister with a comfortable advantage at the moment. And that's the PRST car in between Olegna and Josete. Olegna has gained a further 0.5 of a second. And as such is now pulling away a little bit from the championship contender in behind. There's been a lot of HTRG ASMR over the days. Wake, you should know. You should know. I feel like this is getting just a little bit silly by now. Here, you can clearly see how Josete got the... He had a daddy on the straight there and had a nice toe down to turn 1. Gained about 0.4 of a second. And there is no storm indeed today. Nice to have you along. I hope you've been enjoying the weekend. That goes for all of you, of course. I hope you have been enjoying the weekend, and I hope you'll be enjoying what's left of it as well. That Volex car. I should have like a buzzer every time I wrongfully call a virtual life experience Volex. Oh, just about catching it is Manthe. And in the end he was just about losing it, but he actually just kept it there on that runoff. The tarmac runoff certainly has made Fuji a lot safer, or a lot easier at least to cope with that tarmac runoff than good old gravel traps, that is for sure. And now Olegna actually does have the fastest lap. And with that, back to gaining on Josete as well. Still 2.5 seconds. As we're closing in on the last 10 laps of racing, so expecting, well, just over 15 minutes of racing left, something in that size, something in that order. Thanks, Benjit. We, the TSR, are going to open a fun lobby tonight. Sounds like you're all of a sudden in a Dungeons and Dragons game. Wake. Well, it's the gap being pulled out there between these two. And of course there's Turismo Racing in front of them as well. Yeah, indeed. We need a cleric. That's what we need, Jimmy. Now here Ryan right ahead of Manthe as well. They're going at it, those two. In front of affairs, it's Lazarus with the young man that is Callister behind the wheel of their very much pink and white Fessa. He's been doing a brilliant job so far this race. All along it's been very consistent indeed. It's been looking very good. And just wondering whether it's going to be enough to keep it going on to the line. The thing is about a stop behind, and there is that, I think, what we expect to be the final stop for Lazarus here as Castle comes in. Jimmy. And with that, Olegna is now in second place. I take it that it is. The thing is, I think Olegna can go the distance on that bit of fuel. I'm afraid he's not going to be able to. There's not really a lot of fuel left in that car. It's about 10 to 12% of fuel, I'd say. Not much more than that. With Apex Motorsports pitting in now, but it's all coming back together here at the front of affairs. I don't think there's a big gap to Turismo as well here at the front. What's up, Lightning? Can we get somebody to Photoshop their best versions, their best ideas of a Fudge Musper? I'd love to see that. Because I think you could create a Fudge Musper in different ways. Kind of, you have to take a little bit of a giraffe, a little bit of horse. You make your own little fairy tale animal there. Yeah, wait, can't you be just as good as at mixing animals? Oh, cars, I mean. Just having fun here. Bonjour, Isal, Michael Isal. You have a very well-sounding name in French as well. Oh, Legna going a little wide there on the exit of turn 5. Question if it's gonna cost him too much there. Calcer and Josete is quite close. Now, could someone tell me the situation with the Turismo Racing and where they stand in this, I guess, four-way? I would expect them to be leading. I would also expect them to be needing an extra pit stop. But so, I'm afraid, does Olegna. It'd be strangely surprising if he can keep it running all the way to the line. We'll have to see. Turismo is indeed in 4th place, so they are behind. They pitted, and they will also be going all the way to the line. So Olegna is actually leading in front of Calster and Josete. And that means it's Irius, it's Lazarus, and that is Project 1 at the moment. Thing is, it could very well change. We are on what I think is lap 37. Let's have a look. That's not even true. It's lap 39 by now, so we are within the last 10 laps here. Oh, how much fuel saving is Olegna gonna have to do? It's not really a place where you can really fuel save too much. Of course, it is possible to be a little conservative, to attack a little extra both through the middle and that final sector as well. But you are gonna go deep into the pockets, deep into the reserves on that front straight, that back straight. That's so important. It is the front straight indeed. I don't know why I'm having such a trouble figuring out what the start-finish straight is here at Fuji. Doruparo. Live timing info Well, here it is. But it isn't showing Turismo, that's for sure. Olegna increasing the advantage, but also looking to pit in this time around. And with less than 10 laps to go, I don't really think the Dutchman is gonna have anything to come back at these other two with. And mainly that means with HTRG in front, it does look like it's gonna be the way of Project One Motorsports here. Now let's see, it's a 5-second advantage for Project One as Olegna pits out. And I think now the question is the ghost of Turismo in front? Or is the ghost of Turismo still in 4th place behind? Olegna is in 3rd, so he is in front of Turismo. Four seconds behind. Thanks, Maverick and Benjit. What would I do without you guys today? Is tire wear even on? Yes, it is. Maverick tire wear is indeed on. It's ×1 fuel burning is ×1 as well here as HTRG does go a little deep, but manages to pick up the pace through the rest of the final sector. It seems ever so slightly suffering at the moment. However, those tires aren't really worn. Same goes for Calster. That rubber is pretty fresh as well. So I think it's going to be a difficult one for Olegna to catch up 5 seconds. They've been so close and he'll have to catch up 5 seconds. It's in what, 7 or 8 laps? How many laps? I have to do it like this. We're on lap 41 and just came onto it. And yes, indeed, Alex ERT does need to overtake HTRG in order to claim the championship title. Otherwise, it is going to go to Project One Motorsports. We're closed for bets. Closed for bets. Thunder. Well, Lazarus is behind, but is Lazarus behind by so little? I don't even... Have a look at the maps behind it. It's 7 points between winning and finishing second. And Lazarus, they are 9 points behind on Iris. Oh, it's getting freaky then, because, matter of fact, they're only 6 points behind, actually. So indeed, but as I'm looking at point standings here, HTRG is really beginning to catch up to Calster here at the hot end of affairs. I mean, if my calculations are right, does Calster bring it home here? Lazarus wins this one. And I might just ask Alex or one of the other guys to, one of the other organizers to confirm this one with me. That means you get to keep your PlayStation, Kipso, and your honor as well. as Callister is having to go defensive. There was a little bit of a big, but there was a lag spike, I was gonna say, from Jose. They're absolutely side by side into turn 1. He tries to cut back on Callister, and they're still side by side as they exit it. Question is, who got the run? Absolute pressure is what I'd call it right now. It does not come much harder than this right now from Jose. Project One really wanting to get the better of Lazarus. And here comes the dive into turn 5. Now what's it gonna be yet again? I think Caster's gonna be able to just hold on to the outside here. The question is, did the Spaniard get the run on him as they're coming down towards the next right-hander? It is Lazarus with the inside, and he's gonna be keeping that position for now, at least, I think. We're gonna go on board with Project One here. Jose currently second. Traels is even here, the smooth one. Oh, Callister almost contact. I think he'll be very happy when he sees that Jose just gets a little bit of a squirm on as they exited. The thing is, really far back. Is he gonna be able to get the cross? I think that's the second time Callister swerved the cross there. And I think his options are beginning to be spent this time around as he goes for the squeeze. There's a little bit of a notch between the two, and he keeps Jose on the outside this time around. And we don't have the replay. God damn it, I want to show it to you. We're on lap 44. So by now it's 3.5 laps to go. And mind you, I could be wrong, but from my quick calculations, I think that if Callister keeps a hold of the lead, Lazarus does indeed pick up the win here, with Jose and Project One vying for it. If they take over that position, well, it's gonna be all theirs. And all the way, the more they battle here, the more Legna's going to be gaining. But he's only gained 0.7 of a second since last time we checked in by now. I don't think it's going to be. Here it is, though, just managing to miss it tonight. Does he get the run there, Callister? I don't think so. And that might be the moment that sends the championship the way of Project One. Let's see if Callister does get enough of a run. Oh, they're side by side. They're touching, trading paints. Now Lazarus is ahead as they turn into turn 1. Don't think he's gonna stay there. Gets a little bit of a notch, gets loose with the end. Oh, this is this is almost 210. What lap are we on? We are on lap 45 by now, or 47 I think. So it is indeed lap 45. So, Jose, Callister, Olegna. Well, Olegna, 3.8 seconds. It's more of a watching in the dark than it's any sort of active part in this lead battle at the moment. Callister just tried, he really tried with all his power indeed. Didn't seem to really be possible for the young Brit to keep a hold of that lead position, and is now going the way of Project One Motorsports, of Jose indeed. As the Spaniard is breaking away, he seems to have pace that's just on another level than what Callister can deliver at the moment. As they're on to the penultimate lap. And it does seem like it's a close one, although Calster is in the slipstream. It get the exit from turn 1. It's gonna be a late return for Lazarus. I doubt it. Seems to be losing all the important points here. Just lost a little time on turn 3 exit as well. Through turn 4 now on the exit of turn 5. But he is still within the slipstream. It is a long straight here. Jose about to end this Kipso's whole career. Kipso might be in a strange position not to be cheering for his own teammate. Calster still within a half a second as they cross the line to the final lap, but I don't think that's going to be close enough. And Olegna, it's painful, but you can see it isn't going to be a late send here from Calster into turn 1. He does try, thinks about it. Oh, he might really upset the car there for Jose as he get a big slide on the exit. And the question is, I get the feeling that Calster is in for an all or nothing move here on the final lap. Might be brilliant to watch here. Let's go on board with the Brit. About keeping it under control as they exit turn 5, but it's so difficult indeed. And yet again, Jose Tate doing a brilliant job of just keeping that advantage alive. Oh, into that right hand swift sweeper. It isn't really that much of a turn, especially as it is with that newer chicane layout here into the final sector. Half a second between them. I don't think it's gonna be possible for Calster, and with that, up towards the final corner they come. Let's see here. Project 1 Motorsports. Calster goes for the epic send. Ricardo-esque. Half a second behind. He doesn't make it stick. And with that said, Project 1 is gonna win this IGTL Summer Championship Series. And then I'm not quite sure how they're going to be finishing in behind Calster, for Lazarus was so close. It's going to be second today. Olegna, third place for Iris Racing Team. The virtual life experience with Felix behind the wheel is in 5th place because, of course, Turismo was there in 4th. And here is Manthe holding off Stinky here on the final lap. Stinky's carrying a 2.5 second penalty as well. And indeed, big congratulations to Project 1 here. TSR back in 8th place, Fernando Alonso in 9th, and Cosmics in 10th at the moment. And it is the battle of the young ones indeed, with Jose and Calster. Well, those two actually about the same age, I guess. And as we see here tonight, this afternoon, early evening, certainly also amongst the absolute drivers elite. So a very strong race indeed for for both of those gentlemen. The result, of course, working out the best in the end for Jose. And let's just see the race results for you on screen. Doesn't even show Rodrigo here as well. And with that, it's bouncy heads time. It is invitations time. It's interview time. More bouncy heads just for a short moment here. As we'll see if we can get Jose talking today, perhaps. Otherwise, we'll have Calster, Olegna, we'll have Shoma, we'll have... well, why not Kenny? And where's the whoop? He was there already. That was quick. What a race indeed. Listen to an excited piece of baguette that just joined us here. It's of course Avoop.
I'm totally done. I'm done.
Indeed, what a race. What a race. It really came down to the final centimeters or tarmac. It's not the final meters of tarmac here in this race.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the strategy from Rossetti, just a nonsense total. It's just, what? You pit and 2 laps after you pit again. What is the strategy? Nobody do that.
That was very strange indeed.
Oh, please. Oh, please.
So we've got all the organizers aboard the press conference here. Now we're just waiting for the drivers. I feel like we've been in this situation before, but what a race. Ladies and gents, it's been one to remember. I think that goes for all of these Summer Championship Series races. All 4 rounds have been amazing. And with that said, we have been joined by, from the iRacing team, the Dutchman, our 3rd place finisher today. It is Olegna. Welcome to the press conference. And hello, Olegna. Congratulations on the podium place, and yet in the end it must be disappointing in the end not to be able to grasp the title, or what do you think?
Well, I'm not really annoyed by that. I mean, our team really just showed consistent 3rd, 2nd, or 4th places during the whole of, this summer series. Just, yeah, the tire wear being so low caught me off guard, and then because of FIA races and tire changes, I double-clicked on the tire change for a 2nd time. So, yeah, that wasn't the smartest of decisions to make. But yeah, all in all, really well driven by Kelster and Rossetti, and yeah, congrats. It seemed very tight between them in front of me.
Indeed, it was very, very tight. To that actually went to the final lap. Given you made one more tire change than you were actually planning to, and you finished no more than 2.83 seconds behind, 3.5 seconds I can see here. But anyways, it could have been different. It could have been different, and it was very close. Anyways, congrats to you and to the iRacing team on what's been some very, very fine performances overall throughout this series. And as always, it is a pleasure having the ERT boys racing on screen. So thanks, Olegna, for joining in here. We're gonna hop on with Kelster, young man, 2nd place today. It was so close at the end, and I've rarely seen anyone defend with such valor you did there on those final laps. Epic to watch, Kelster. How are you feeling right now?
I'm not happy because it kind of pushed me off turn 1, so you should have really given the place back, but I mean, I'm not sure. It's 50-50 either way. But yeah, except from that was a really good race, yeah. Strategy went really well, I think. Had clean air. Yeah, really good quali. Thanks to Regner for slipstream, by the way. Really appreciate that. Yeah, that's about it.
Good stuff, Kelster, and congrats on a strong performance over all of your races. That goes for all of the Lazarus boys being at the pointy end of affairs. Congrats on. I haven't really done the maths whether you actually finish in 2nd or 3rd, but I think from what I can make of it, you'll be 3rd overall. Maybe one of our organizers.
Yeah, they will.
They will be.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's really good considering we used 3 drivers when most of you only used 1 or 2. So it's really good, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
You have to blame Lewis for that.
Yeah, don't read Reddit while you're driving.
And Aboop, do you have some French to speak about now?
Oh no, I will talk with Jomas in head-to-head
Okay.
with Baguette audience.
Oh,
No problem.
okay. Well, with that said,
Translation after.
I don't think we're gonna have Josete joining us. It's not the first time that Josete didn't want to speak
No.
English, so I'll need to practice my Spanish. Maybe then we can get him to talk a little bit.
Sí,
But
hola.
sí, hola, por todos, buenas tardes. Gracias por la.
Por la carrera.
That too, and tuning in to Half the Race Gone was actually what I was trying to think of how to say in Spanish. But anyways, it has been a great pleasure having you all along. Thanks so much for tuning in to the IGTL, the International Gran Turismo League, the best place for top level IGTL, or top level GT Sport action, the IGTL. And thanks for having us. That goes to the organizers. It's always a pleasure. Thanks for yet another piece of well-held racing with this Summer Championship Series. I think it's been very well organized. It's been a pleasure to be a part of in that sense as well. Gracias, regacias.
Thanks to you.
Traels.
Muchas
Thanks to you
gracias.
for broadcasting.
Ragazzi.
I want to say that thanks for broadcasting the whole season, being awesome through the whole season, with the ups and downs we could have. And yeah, that was a great finish of the season. I mean, I've made quick math, and if Lazarus finished P1, they would have won by 1 point over ERT and Pier 1. Because it would have been 99 for Lazarus, 98 for ERT and Pier 1.
Yeah, I kind of felt like I got pushed off there, so...
Feel free to report.
Let's go to the
race.
inquiries.
I report.
That's gonna be
that
for
incident.
that's gonna be for after the stream or for the unofficial discussions afterwards. But I'm gonna round it off. Everyone say bye.
See you later.
Our fault.
And
Thank you, Storm.
thanks for tuning in.
Storm.
Thanks for tuning in.
Let's
Like,
pick
subscribe if you feel like it, and if not, until next time, my name is DirtenDK. It's been a pleasure having you on here on Half the Race Gone. Until next time, take care, have fun, and bye bye.